Protesters packed Decatur Street right outside of Jackson Square tonight to continue the discussion of ending police brutality and ending the injustice with African Americans. We have team coverage tonight with the protest. Tan Trung is live for us at Decatur, right by Jackson Square.
But first, we want to head out to Devin Bartolotta. She's out near Duncan Plaza tonight. Devin, what's it like where you are?
Well, what you won't see behind me for the second night in a row is any kind of a protest. We are at Tulane and Gravier. What you can see behind me here is some members of the Mounted Patrol. You can see about 10 of them there just lining Gravier Street. The reason that we are here in the CBD is that we have lost track of about 200 protesters who split off after the main protest that began earlier tonight. Now, this protest started right around 6 o'clock this evening, totally peaceful, with thousands and thousands of people packing the area right around Jackson Square. There were many speakers. These organizers urged the dismantling of systemic racism, advocated for unions and for workers in New Orleans, emphasized the importance of all LGBT plus and Black lives. Now, after many speeches, what ended up happening was the protesters went over to the river, just steps away from Jackson Square. They were there for a short time, and that's kind of when the organized part of this protest ended. A lot of people were kind of confused on what was happening next. Some began chanting, "Let's go march." There was a little bit of a discrepancy on where they wanted to go, and some people started marching through the quarter. They went all down Bourbon Street, they crossed Canal Street, went over into the CBD. And we saw them go right past Duncan Plaza and City Hall here, and they kept on marching. There's no real clear direction of where they might be headed right now, but what we're hearing from people who have split off and decided to go home from this peaceful protest is that there's still a pretty big group down in the Jackson Square area and in the French Quarter. So for now, we're going to head over to Tan Trung, who is still there. He's been there all night. Tan, what are you seeing where you are?
Well, Devin, we were actually on the other side of the protest since you went over to the other side right there. We've been on the Decatur side next to Cafe du Monde, and you know, there were some very poignant moments in this protest. There was a moment where everybody rallied and they asked everybody to raise their fist for 10 seconds for Breonna Taylor, who was shot and killed in Louisville, Kentucky. Back in March, she was an unarmed Black woman shot and killed in her own home, and they raised their fist for her. And this would have been her 27th birthday, so that was a very poignant moment. And there was some nervousness going into this rally, this protest tonight. Several businesses around the French Quarter were worried. There were rumors and rumblings about agitators, outside agitators, doing something tonight, but that didn't happen, so they boarded up their areas. The only thing we did see was this one incident where a man had caused some type of incident within the crowd, and the crowd itself kind of self-policed and pulled that man away and then transferred him over to the police. And again, that's not representative of what happened tonight. It was a very peaceful protest. At the end of it, as Devin had mentioned, they all marched to the river in silence, and that was something that was very kind of poignant in bringing together the crowd tonight. And as Devin mentioned, after that, after everybody went to the river, they kind of just parted ways. And as people were leaving tonight, they were still chanting, "Black Lives Matter," and "No justice, no peace." So again, this is very much in front of mind and very much an emotional state for people. But it's been very peaceful. As you can probably see, some of the police cars from NOPD are now passing us. But again, there was no need for heavy patrol tonight, a very peaceful protest near Jackson Square. Reporting from Jackson Square, Tan Trung, Eyewitness News.